Well, in the last lecture, we had given a thorough uh, analysis upon what deep ecology is, and to what extent deep ecology was in fact making an attempt to find an alternative ways of trying to unearth a deep ecological awareness. And we have cited the works of the Norwegian philosopher Arnenes, and Arnenes strongly talks about the idea of the eco-philosophy, and wherein he talks about that self-realization perhaps is the best idea which is posited in order to solve the ecological problems which we have witnessed and encountered. And in the last part of the lecture, we also talks about some of the critique how deep ecology is being perceived in the third world countries as an emerging neo-colonialism. And today we are going to discuss about social ecology, another trends of environmental ethics, and which is developed by an American socialist and anarchist, Murray Bookchin. Bookchin, in fact, sort of tries to respond to the ideas which is developed by deep ecology, and he find that deep ecology is not enough. Rather, these sort of problems which we are addressing, that is the environmental problems, are something which is innate within the human society, and therefore the human society, or sort of how society emerges and the structure and function of society in a way is responsible, and therefore it has to be restructured and sort of try to make sense of the kind of stratification and hierarchy which exists among human beings. So, if you look at the background of this social ecology, for quite some time there has been an increasing realization that the dominant class, that is the elite class, who form only maybe a few percent of the entire world population, but have been successfully able to control and manipulate the natural resources in order to meet their increasing needs. And therefore, this has resulted to sort of a substantial or lead to some consequences which goes up to the environment and disadvantaged social groups. So, therefore, it is interesting to see that how this class polarization emerges, and why is it that some section happens to become a victim of this environmental devastation which we are witnessing. And if you you might be familiarized, I mean, with the term called ecological refugees, wherein there is sort of a displacement and involuntary migration which happens among communities who are closer to and dependent on nature as a result of many development policies and programs like building certain infrastructures. But this has sort of a far-reaching impact on the means of livelihood or sustenance of those communities, and therefore they have been displaced from homeland and ecological niche, and those group of people are termed as ecological refugees, which in a way can also be categorized as this disadvantaged social group. Now, for quite some time, there has also been a constant tussle which exists between development and environment. Why is it that when we talk about development, it has a first and foremost impact on the environment is simply because of the manner in which it is being planned, and certain parameters are not being taken into considerations, or for that matter those policy planners and scientists in a way are least concerned about the social or human factor, and therefore this has sort of led to certain kinds of animosity between development and environment in general. Now, earlier, before these different environmental ethics or social issues were taken into considerations, normally it was presumed that the process of industrialization was considered to be one of the major factor which actually caused the ecological degradation. And also there are some school of thought who talks about science and technology as not something which will deliver or sort of deviate us from this disaster. And also in the last lecture, deep ecology is perhaps one sort of alternatives to these problems which we are trying to find a solution. Now, today in this lecture, as I said, we will be looking on trying to explore what social ecology is, and what is the kind of problems which are embedded in relation to the ecological degradation, which is pretty much embedded in a society. Now, the term social ecology was given by Murray Bookchin, and Bookchin is an American anarchist and libertarian socialist. Now, in his seminal work Ecology and Revolutionary Thought, he strongly propagate and talk about this particular term or concepts called social ecology. And social ecology is nothing but the study of the reciprocal relationship between human society and the ecological infrastructure. Now, it is important also to situate this relationship which exists between how the idea of human share relationship with the ecology or the ecosystem around them, and to what extent this dualism or boundaries have been developed, and what are the factors responsible for this demarcation. Now, social ecology also in a way tries to posit that the problems which we are facing is perhaps a result of this the kind of how society is being structured, that is the hierarchical organization of sort of the power relationship and the kind of authoritarian mentality which is rooted in the structures of society. So, in a way it is, if we try to from the sociological point of view, it is important to see this from a structuralist perspective, and how this the structure which is pretty much rooted within the society is also responsible for this environmental crisis. The Western ideology in a way which is being sort of supported by science and technology has this perception of dominating the natural world, and which also perhaps arises from the kind of social institutions which they have emerges. Now, this domination of nature by man in a way stems from the very real domination of human by human. Now, this idea of how a human becomes subject of another human in a sense reflect in a much more wider, and it has a wider implication on the relationship which is shared between human society and the ecology. Now, this is something which is talked about strongly by Bookchin in his seminal work, that is the ecology of freedom again. Now, what does social ecology in a way attempts to or tries to sort of find an alternative in terms of solving or describing about the environmental crisis. Now, social ecology in a way aims to replace the basic attitudes and behavior, that is the mentality of domination, with an ethics of complementarity. That is, such an ethics also reflect our true role, which is to create a fuller and richer world for all beings. That means wherein every species or every creation for that matter has a place, that is sort of no division between different sections on the idea of which is given importance and which is given least important. And in simple terms, this idea of superior and inferior should be sort of wiped out. Now, this ethics of complementarity has to some extent spiritual dimension that is described by many of the social ecologists as respiration of the natural world, but is clearly not a call for sort of a deistic theology. Now, why is it that the social ecologists sort of talk about this, the spiritual dimension which is pretty much present among the beings of the natural world? Now, the spirituality which is again advanced by this school of thought in a way tries to look at the naturalistic rather than the supernaturalistic or pantheistic. Now, when we talk about spiritual dimensions, we are in a way under the impression that it's the supernatural or some mythical beings which we are discussing. Rather, this is something which is slightly different from the general notion of what spirituality is, because social ecology talks about the natural world, and the emphasis is pretty much on the naturalistic being. Now, this alternative is society which is also based on the ecological principles and organic unity in diversity, and which is also free from hierarchy and based on mutual respect for the kind of interrelationship of all aspects of life. Now, as I said, every being has a place and a role to play, and it is strongly guided by this idea of biocentrism and rather than anthropocentrism, and how a particular species in a way is also given an importance in the whole cosmology. The kind of understanding which is developed, that is on the principles of the organic unity in diversity. So, with so much of differences and of species, including the human beings, there is yet a kind of unity or a kind of mutual dependence among all these beings. So, therefore, one cannot single out that a human in a way has sort of an overriding or dominating power on this species. Now, the way human beings in a way deal with each other as social beings is crucial in trying to understand and making sense of the ecological crisis, because it is the way we humans sort of treat other human beings to some extent has developed that idea, and the how we deal with other human being is also perhaps reflected strongly on the other beings. Now, therefore, if we change human society, by changing society, we are not talking about the sort of from a civilizational understanding, but rather from the kind of mentality and the social structure which we are talking about. For instance, free from a hierarchy and based on mutual respect. Now, perhaps if there is some kind of a restructuring of human society, then possibly our relationship with the rest of nature will in a way be transformed. Therefore, social ecology in a way talks about a social revolution or a revolutionary change, which perhaps might be able to restructure or transform our relationship with the nature. That is, it is ideal and important to separate the ecological problems from the social. Would be perhaps a mistake or a misconstruct, because oftentimes we only talk about the industrial, the technology, the society, and so on and so forth, by sort of excluding the social problems, and therefore to sort of exclude the social would be a misconstrue for the factors which is responsible for the growing environmental crisis, and therefore social ecology gives a lot of emphasis and importance of the social, that is the society. Now, some of the key principles of social ecology is that ecological problems, there has been it has espoused that ecological problems arises from these deep-seated social problems. And what are these social problems? We'll come to that in the later part of the discussion. Now, the kind of ecological problems which we encounter perhaps cannot be truly understood without sort of talking or discussing these social issues. Therefore, it is important to sort of locate and talks about the social issues which is pretty much inherent within the social structure of the human society. Now, this some of the deep-seated social problems could be the social hierarchy, and the class legitimizes our domination of the environment and underpins the consumer system. When we talk of the consumer system, it is pretty much guided by the idea of this market system, and perhaps the capitalist mindset of sort of exploiting nature and accumulation of wealth could perhaps be one of the starting point to begin with. Now, there could be a lot of causes to these environmental problems, and from the viewpoint of the consumer system, it can be the trade for profit, the industrial expansion and identification of progress with corporate self-interest. Now, when we talk about the corporate self-interest, it is also important to see that how development is linked with environment. Now, for instance, in the context of India, and if you talk about the Vedanta mining, now what is the problem in the extraction of the aluminum or bauxite from the Nyamgiri hills, and what sort of repercussion does it cause to the people of mostly the Dongria Cont, which is perhaps one of the primitive tribes of Orissa or Western Orissa for that matter. Now, over there, the Orissa state government in a way has signed a pact with the Vedanta mining company, and many of those Adivasis were in a way being displaced from those areas to sort of excavate or extract the mining ores. Now, if you look at many of those mountains and hills, not only sustain the Adivasi community, but also it is sort of sacred to them, and based on their mythical belief, those hills and mountains are in a way being a custodian and have been sort of a deep socio-cultural connection is being maintained. Now, the problem when is sort of the corporate in a way intervened into extraction of mining. The development in a way is not just affecting the environment or the ecosystem of those communities who are dependent on them, but it has also a far-reaching impact on the not just the means or way of life, but also a threat to the social and cultural identities of those communities. So, therefore, when we talk about any environmental problems, it should not be seen as something the problems which or the kind of degradation or devastation it causes externally, but it has one needs to give an in-depth analysis of to what extent those development in a way goes to the environment. Now, Bookchin in a way from the perspective of this consumer system has sort of highlighted some of the problems of these factors which is responsible for the environmental problems, which in a way is based on trade for profit. For your information, when we talk about trade, it is not that trade does not exist in the past. Trade does exist, but to sort of satisfy the needs of two entity or two groups of people by exchanging in order to fulfill their needs. But when we talk about trade for profit, it has sort of a far-reaching impact on the environment and ecology again, and also the industrial expansion and identification of so-called progress led by the corporate interest, corporate self-interest, has in a way has a deep impact on the ecological problems. And social ecology in a way emphasizes that the destiny of human life or the idea of existence of human goes hand in hand with the non-human mode. Now, therefore, it espouses sort of a harmonious relationship between the for the survival of human. It is important to have a harmonious relationship with the non-human mode. Now, as I discussed in the beginning, it has some sort of a spiritual dimension, but it is to be located within the naturalistic perspective. Now, social ecologists in a way believe that things like racism, sexism, third world exploitation are in fact a product of the same mechanism that cause, for example, the rainforest devastation. Now, to think it aptly, I mean, it sounds sort of like nonsensical to talk about racism and sexism and third world exploitation in the context of this environmental crisis or the devastation of resources. But yet, Bookchin in a way calls for certain kind of a holistic approach in order to have an ecological sensibility that would in a way sort of shift our attention or encourage play and sort of celebrate our imagination. And Bookchin in a way also claims that most ecologists and environmentalists focus on the symptoms of our problems rather than the causes, so mistakenly focus on technology or population growth. Now, for instance, pollution in a way is sort of seen to be a major problem in recent times. But why is pollution so much talked about? Because it happens to sort of posit a health concern to many of the developed nations or those elites. But when we talk about pollution, it also has a different connotations in the third world countries, because pollution of the water bodies, pollution of the natural surroundings in a way has a much more or far-reaching impact on those the marginalized sections of people. How? Because it is not just about the health concern, but rather it has hampered the means of livelihood to those communities. Therefore, this notion or understanding of pollution perhaps might be a problem, but it has a different connotations and meanings to different sections of the society. And perhaps that is one of the reasons why Bookchin in a way has tries to focus on the social problems, that is the kind of hierarchy which exists, and to what extent those elites are in a way being able to have a dominating idea on nature and natural resources. Now, therefore, it is important to highlight not just the negative effects of these problems, but rather to unearth the causes which has perhaps been ignored till now. Now, therefore, since the focus is on to find out the causes, it is important to see that to locate the change in society. That is, there is sort of a clarion call for changing society, because the sort of soft technologies or maybe let us say science and technologies won't make any difference either, because simple technology which we are sort of talking when we talk about sustainable development it is important to accommodate the knowledge of people who have closer to nature and who has been dependent on simple technology. And Bookchin over here has a different take, because he feels that simple technology can still cause a harmful impact on the environment, because if the ideology that uses it is unchanged. So, therefore, for Bookchin it is the mindset, the ideology, that is the ideas which is entrenched on the social structure is responsible therefore in its change. Now, he highlighted about the cited examples of the period 100 years ago in the forests of England, were in a way cut down with the use of simple technology like the axes that had not changed since the Bronze Age. Now, therefore, it is not the technology which we use which is responsible for the environmental problems, but it is the ideology, that is the mindset which needs to be changed, and perhaps that would be the starting point for changing the society. Now, the current environmentalism focuses mostly on the environmental engineering that is concerned with tinkering with the existing institutions and values, then changing them. Now, therefore, environmentalism is used to win large constituencies, but not to educate them. Therefore, it is important that similar to the line of self-realization which is strongly adhered by in deep ecology or deep ecological movement, it is important to have certain kinds of education, to educate for change. Now, therefore, this is something the environmentalism or the environmental ethics should focus upon. Now, let us try to look on the how human society and nature are sort of closely linked and the kind of relationship it's shared. Now, for quite some time in different successive stages of society, there has been a continuous struggle for existence, and in this there are also some who come up with the evolutionary ideas, which like social Charles Darwin, which strongly adhere to the idea of survival of the fittest, tends to explain that the increasingly subjective and more flexible beings are capable of dealing with environmental changes more effectively than are less subjective and flexible beings. Now, in a way, we can say that human beings perhaps is the most capable species which is more adapted or adaptable to any kind of environment, and it tends to change depending on the environment one is exposed to. And therefore, it is not the strong or which is able to do who is going to survive, but who is capable of adapting and then changing. That is sort of the strategy in order to survive in this environment. Now, if we try to take the examples of the non-human nature, that is its process of evolution rather than as a mere vista. Now, if it is not that the non-human entity or nature also does not evolve, Bookchin in a way emphasizes that human beings are basically just highly intelligent primates in compared to the other uh, species. Why is it so? Because is it because humans are more prone to adaptation, or rather are they more receptive to any kind of environmental changes? No doubt human in a way are perhaps in terms of the intelligence level, perhaps they are highly equipped with it. We are also in a way a part of nature, and suggestion that we are in a way a special case, superficial and potentially misanthropic. Now, why is that Bookchin is having such kind of observation and suggestion? Because human beings in a way tends to depict aliens that have no place or pedigree in natural evolution, or to see them essentially as an infestation that parasitizes a highly anthropomorphic version of the planet that is Gaia, what Bookchin has given the term called Gaia. The way these parasitize dogs and cats is bad thinking, not only bad ecology. Now, Bookchin in a way depicts human being as sort of aliens in the entire natural setting or the natural evolution, and perhaps this is something how human positioned oneself in the natural setting. Now, how do we position human as part of the evolutionary processes then? Now, far from being unnatural, humans are in a way an expression of deep natural processes. How? Because Bookchin believes that human consciousness is nothing but a result of nature striving for increasing complexity and awareness. And humans are nature that has become self-aware. We humans in a way has sort of, from the civilizational perspective, if you look at, we have moved on and tends to sort of develop our culture, the kind of belief system which we have, and we tends to perceive ourselves positioning ourselves in this part of this evolutionary process as becoming much more finer and finer, and moving on from a simple to much more complex states. And this sort of movement in a way is seen to be because of the increasing self-awareness. And even though we are part of this biological evolution, which Bookchin calls as nature, we still have sort of a unique social awareness, which he called as the second nature. Now, why is it that humans are in possession of this second nature, and what does this second nature constitute? Our second nature in a way is that the development of technology, science, various social institutions, and also the expansion of urban as a result of say population, or this expansion of these towns and cities. All these factors are in a way dependent on the human abilities that evolve from first nature. So, in a way, we move on from first nature to the second nature, and I am sure you are aware about how all these factors add up to being part of the second nature of human beings. That is, from a evolutionary and a civilizational perspective. And there are still some human communities who still are pretty much part of the first nature, and who are not part of the second nature. So, that sort of dichotomy still exists even among the human society. For instance, many of the aborigines or the native societies, or let us say the primitive tribes in India, have in a way sort of not evolved yet, or we can in a way say they are being left behind in this evolutionary process. Now, how then in this moving to the second nature, how this problem emerges and the ideologies they produce, the modes of thinking, the sort of priorities which in a way is guided by the consumer system, that is the trade for profit, and sort of how technology is being utilized in order to satisfy their needs, or the expansion of trade. Now, the ideologies they produce, the extent to which this contribute to this biotic evolution or abort it, and the damage they have inflicted on the earth as a whole, lie at the very heart of the modern ecological crisis. Now, in a way, it is not just the problems which we created. The problem lies not in terms of the technology which we use, but the problem, as we discussed, lies very much in the ideology which we propagated. Now, Bookchin in a way rejects that either or thinking behind the commonly hailed opposites to anthropocentry and biocentricity. Now, the opposing principle, that is biocentricity, claims that all beings have equal intrinsic value and is bound up with the notion of a biocentric democracy, which Bookchin described as almost meaningless. Now, what then is the solution? Is this biocentricity, which is in opposition to anthropocentry, the only solution, or what else could be the solution? Now, perhaps it is because of this that Bookchin talks about or popularizes this idea of social ecology, because social ecology in a way attempts to integrate, that is the first biotic nature, with the second nature, that is human society and non-human nature are in a way connected, and they are part of one single evolutionary processes. Because when we talk about the evolutionary processes, there is a tendency to demarcate the idea that human and non-human have share a separate root or separate entity. But the idea social ecology tries to espouse here is to integrate, that is the biotic nature with the human nature, that is the first and the second. And therefore, the idea is to sort of not just locate the intrinsic value, but also to bring the non-human into the human fold as following one single paradigm. Now, the notion of this decentralization tends to look at how we tends to pursue sort of an interpretative meaning in the social issues, how it is being structured. That is, we should want to know how each idea derived from others and is part of an overall development. Now, what is this interpretative meaning? Now, if we are to understand or unearth the intrinsic and in-depth meaning of something, one needs to locate and study things in its context, in its ecological space, in its socio-cultural setup. Now, therefore, only then we will have a sort of a meaningful understanding of the real nature and social issues which are so much institutionalized. Now, social ecology again sort of urge us to locate nature and society as something which is pretty much which share linkages by evolution into one nature that consists of two differentiation, that is first which is the biotic nature, and the second, that is the human nature. Now, why is it that biotic nature and human nature has to be clubbed together and to be seen as one single evolutionary flow? Because human nature and biotic nature share an evolutionary potential for greater subjectivity and flexibility, and second nature is the way in which human beings as flexible, that is perhaps equipped with highly intelligent and which inhabit the natural world. That is to say that people create an environment that is more suitable for their mode of existence. Now, here again the question of adaptability and adaptations comes into play again. Why? Because humans, because of their basic advantage of being the most intelligent among the primates, are able to refashion and create a space which is perhaps well suited to serve their own interests or modes of existence. Now, what are the environmental changes which are again produced by humans, and what sort of factors are responsible? Human in a way act upon the environments with considerable technical foresight, because we tend to evolve and modify the kind of technology which we used, and therefore there is a lacking of foresight maybe in respect to the ecological respects. Now, we tend to put a blind eye rather on the ecological parameters, and tends to focus mostly on the technical aspect. So, therefore, giving much more priorities only on the technical aspect again has a far-reaching impact on the environment. Now, as we all know, the human society is pretty much guided by their cultural belief and system, and culture is something which evolves over a period of time, which is not similar in different societies, because some cultural group are seen to be much more civilized and advanced, and whereas some cultural groups are seen to be much more inferior and then uncivilized. Now, why is culture given importance here? Culture again are rich in knowledge, experience, cooperation, and conceptual intellectuality. However, the situation arises that they might be sharply sort of divided against themselves at certain points of their development as one evolve. even when we are following that paradigm of evolutionary process, there is sort of a division again. Could be because of conflicts between groups, classes, nation states, and even city states. So there were times when the people who inhabit a hill and a valley, and so is today. Now, many of the hill communities or those native societies were seen to be communities who are far away from civilization, because they are not part of the state or the government, and they are not part of the so called civilizational perspective of this development. But we cannot override by simply saying that those who are far away from the state are to be seen as uncivilized, or rather giving that term called savage. Because recently there is an environmental historian by name called James Scott, who has extensively studied many of the South East Asian countries and come up with the term called Jumia. Now, this particular term called Jumia is given to those communities in different countries who have in a way inhabit the hilly terrains. And if we try to look at history, these people who inhabit the hilly terrains are practicing the shifting cultivation or zooming practices. And this sort of agriculture again is seen to be primitive if we try to evaluate from the perspective of this trade and profit or the consumer system. But James Scott in a way strongly argues that these communities are to be seen as state evading people, because they have purposely evade the valley if not the state, because they want to retain their own distinct cultural and social identity. Therefore, they want to maintain or stay or isolate and detach from the state. Now, how do we then try to talk about different cultural groups in different ecological niche? That what are the kind of divisions and how do we categorize that one sort of cultural groups are much more superior and civilized, and the other group, as which was supposedly called state evading people, as primitive and uncivilized. So, these are something which in a way has evolved over time. If you locate the historicity of how human society developed, and these are to be also located in the context of how humans maintained the sort of relationship with their environment, and why do they stick to that particular modes of agriculture practices, which are seen to be from a colonialist or from a scientific point of view as something which is sort of primitive and uncivilized. Now, this is something which also has to be not directly relevant, but to broaden our thinking, we need to be concerned about all these things as well. Now, non-human beings are generally perceived to live in the certain geographical and ecological niche. Their behavior are pretty much conditioned by the instinctive drives and conditioned reflexes. Now, animals usually, or the non-human, are seen to be much more guided by their instinct, their sort of they are much more reflexive. So, but does that does that amount to the non-human as lacking in intelligence? This is something which we need to question. Human societies are bonded together by institutions that change radically over centuries, and as they developed from a sort of a simple society to a complex, and then the so-called modern society which we are into, the kind of authority or the governing bodies also evolve over time. Now, non-human communities are known for their fixity, that is, they are pretty much rigid in general terms or by clearly preset, often genetically imprinted rhythms. They are sort of being pretty much inherent and then guided by these traits, which is again slightly different from the humans. Human communities are on the other hand conditioned by the ideological factors that are subject to change, conditioned by those factors. Now, if you look at the sort of the past history, certain ideologies has been developed by different philosophers over a period of time, and these ideologies in a way conditioned human society. Or on the other hand, as society evolved and developed, those philosophers were in a way able to interpret by putting those social, economic and political affairs of that period of time in a nutshell by developing certain kind of ideas or ideology. Now, perhaps by now we are clear that what are the traits which in a way influences or inherent to the non-human, and on what context the human society is different from the non-human. First and foremost is the sort of the social organizations or the institutions, and second is the ideological factors which in a way has conditioned the humans. Now, how does this idea of dominating nature emerges in human society? Perhaps the first and foremost is which is developed from the social structure. How then this the social eventually structure around status group, class formations and cultural phenomena emerges from the biological. Now, it is interesting to see that from the works of Marx or Marxism, why is it that as a result of the industrial in the industrial society or in the capitalist society, why is that there is emerging classes, that is the have and the have-nots? It is those have, that is the capitalists, who own the product. A handful of them in a way controlling the product. At the same time, those have-nots are at the mercy of this handful of capitalists who actually control the natural resources. Now, how that the pretty much innate social structure leading to the emergence of this development of the status group, class formation and cultural phenomena, which is pretty much biological in nature. Biological factors such as lineage, gender distribution and age differences were slowly institutionalized, and their uniquely social dimensions was initially quite egalitarian. If we talk about some of the tribal societies or primitive societies, it is not that they don't have a hierarchy or a status group, but during that point of time, it was more or less based on the idea of gerontocracy. Gerontocracy is something where a status is formed on the basis of age seniority. So those elders, or maybe who are in a way well versed with the customary laws and traditions of those societies, are given certain kind of a status. And say for example, in many of tribal societies, they have their own chief, which again is not authoritarian, but rather a custodian, and who in a way look after the welfare of those communities. Now therefore, this idea of communitarianism and egalitarianism has been very much part of those societies when we talk about those simple societies. Now how does this sort of gender distribution or age differences has eventually being institutionalized? Now when we talk about gender distribution, the kind of distribution between gender wasn't much more pretty much flexible and less rigid, because in many of the agriculture practices, there is no work which is being divided for the men and women. They have sort of jointly exercise and then engage in those agriculture practices. Now it is interesting to see that how these biological facts, which are part of the human society, has been rather at a later part being institutionalized, because as society move on, it slowly tends to acquire sort of an oppressive or hierarchical and then an exploitative class form. That is, so-called social institutions were slowly reframed, reworked, reconditioned at various periods and in various degrees, and which eventually led into develop into a hierarchical structure which are based on command and obedience. Now who has those authority and the idea of dominating power? Now to what extent those people who are in a way given so much of importance, or rather tends to occupy an important category in that social structure. Now perhaps hierarchy in its earliest forms was probably not marked by so-called the harsh qualities, rather it has occurred over history. Now as I was talking about the idea of gerontocracies, which are based on the age difference, wherein the ones who are elder are occupying sort of respectable positions, where such form of this kind of hierarchy, which example I had talked about the tribal councils or elder chiefdom, etc. and etc. Now this sort of hierarchy was something which in a way is legitimized by the communities, because it is not that they demand certain kind of power and obedience over their subjects, but rather it is through their sort of ability, and then as a result of their sort of noble deeds, and be able to be a custodian of those communities, that they were able to earn such kind of authority, or rather obedience from the communities. Now how does this idea of gender differences emerges? Now this social domination again is has origin from how the human, the male members has dominating tendencies on the females. Now, if you look at the simple technology when during the agriculture practices where a cattle drawn plow is being used, it slowly tends to invade or sort of attack the domestic space of a female, that is who had used a simple digging stick, and the earlier economic predominance in the continuities of life is thereby diluted. Now, it is because we can, from the essentialist perspective, if we talk about the biological factors, it is because of the structure and the strength and the sturdiness of the male that they tends to slowly has and supersede the not only the space, but also the control and dominance on female. Male dominance in a way becomes extremely active, and it ultimately produces a world that is managed only by the male elites who dominate not only women but also other men. Now, this sort of hierarchy and idea of domination emerges from sort of the family, wherein the gender differences happens to sort of emerges. I'll detail about this idea of gender differentiation and male domination when we talk about when we lecture upon the ecofeminism, and then I'm sure you'll have much more clear picture and ideas. Now, why then this hierarchy emerges, and why is it that it is sort of so much distinct and evident as time passes by? Perhaps we can give certain factors, like example of the increasing population, natural disaster, and also certain technological changes that in a way privilege the male activities, which normally involve in the activities of hunting and caring for animals over the horticultural functions of female, and the growth of civil society, the spread of warfare. So, in a way, the development or this emergence of the science and technology is in a way seen by many feminists as something which is against their interest, because for example, if we talk about the technology, the big tractors and trollers in a way privilege and the male members rather the female in terms of utilizing them. Therefore, the male members over a period of time tends to occupy much more important space, as many of the the modern technologies are sort of favoring them. Therefore, they are in a better positions, and this sort of hierarchy not just between male and female, but also among other subjects, that is the man over man, and then from one culture group to the other group, and from one society to other society, from one nation to the other nations, city, state, so on and so forth. Therefore, this hierarchy has emerges as society developed and nation developed, and this so is the demarcations which sort of develop as a result of those factors. How then this idea of dominating nature emerges? Now, Bookchin has said that nature, in a broad sense, is a biotic environment which humans take the simple things and which they need for survival, modes of sustenance, and often which has no meaning of the pre-literate peoples, even when they celebrate the animistic rituals and view the world around them as an excess of life, that is, which is more or less based on mutual dependence and sort of the interrelationship between the biotic and human was pretty much harmonious in the first form of maybe perhaps the pre-literate society. Now, how then this hierarchy emerges? With the rise of hierarchy, human domination tends to, this ideology seems to be planted for a belief that nature not only exists as a world apart, but that it is hierarchically organized and can be dominated. Now, in a way, these civilizational modes of thinking or notion of domination emerges, sort of the hierarchy between human and nature is developed. Now, for instance, in a very simple anthropological sense, if you cite an example like for instance magic, which in a way reveals this shift and will sort of simplifies doubt in some way. Now, the early form of these magic practices tends to view nature as a world apart, and its worldview tended to be guided by how the practitioner, that is the one who practiced magic, essentially pleaded with the chief spirit, that is some sort of spirituality still guided the human in the naturalistic surrounding. Now, the one who practiced this magic in its earliest form tends to plead to the chief spirit or the game to coax an animal or sort of a direction of an arrow or a spear when one has to go for sort of a hunt or hunting animals. Later, this magic becomes almost entirely instrumental, that is, the game is coerced by magical techniques to become the hunter's prey. Now, there is a dramatic shift in even the practice of these rituals. How human tends to make full use of the kind of practices one does to satisfy one's needs. The first one is sort of seeking a permission or praying to the spirit, but in the second part, in the later part, it tends to be guided by this idea of instrumentalism. The game is sort of coerced by magical techniques to become the hunter's prey. So, in a way, it is being pushed and forced to satisfy their need, that is, so that they are able to accomplish their desire and mission in a way. Now, interestingly, while the earliest form of magic which we had discussed may be regarded as the practices of a generally non-hierarchical and egalitarian community, and the later forms of animistic belief betray a more or less hierarchical view of the natural world and of a latent human prowess of domination. Now, this idea of how even the practices of magic or maybe animistic belief also change. Now, for instance, I go to the temple or church to pray, not just to get to thank or the sort of get a blessing, but if I visited church or the temple with single-mindedly that to fulfill a certain kind of or achieve a certain kind of goal. So, that idea of worshipping or thanksgiving in a way also is different, because we are guided by this idea of instrumental. Now, perhaps this idea of dominating nature has also its primary source in the domination of human by
human and the structuring of the natural world into a hierarchical chain of being that is a static conception incidentally that has no relationship to the evolution of life into a much more increasingly advanced form of subjectivity and flexibility. Now, social ecology in a way rejected or refuses the fact that the harm this so-called elitist society inflicted on the natural world was much more than compared to the harm inflicted on humanity, or nor does it overlook the fact that the destiny of human life goes hand in hand with the destiny of the non-human world. Now, if it affects the human, similarly it is going to affect the non-human world. Therefore, our action, every kind of action in a way will have an equal reaction. The consequences is going to be equally bear by the human again. Now, we can only overcome this ideology of dominating nature by creating a society without hierarchical structures or economic classes. Now, since this ideology is something which has drive society, therefore, this ideology of dominating nature has to be restructured and it has to create a society in absence of a hierarchy structure or economic classes. Now, as we had talked about the idea of the survival of the fittest, which is again borrowed from this Darwinism, this particular idea of this perhaps one of the factors of these environmental problems is again we are guided by this ideology of grow or die. But just as we had discussed, this hierarchy and this class structure tend to accrue a momentum in their own and permeate much of society, so too the market began to accrue a life of its own and extended its reach beyond the limited regions into the depths of vast continents. It is more or less influenced by this consumer system. Exchange is to be primarily a means to provide the modest needs, which in a way subvert the limits imposed upon guilds on moral, religious restrictions. Now, beginning from the late 18th and early 19th centuries, this new industrial capitalist class with its factory system and commitment to limitless expansion began to sort of colonize the entire world and finally most aspects of the personal life. Now, unlike the feudal nobility which had its cherished lands and castles, the bourgeois, that is the industrialist or the capitalist today, had no home but the marketplace and its bank walls. Now, it is not limited to a single space, but it has no territorial limits, and therefore, it in a way has produced a class which has turned more and more of the world into an ever expanding domain of factories. Now, this is something how this idea of class or status emerges and develops over a period of time. On the other hand, the industrial capitalists of this modern world spawned a bitterly competitive marketplace that in a way plays a high premium on industrial expansion and also the commercial power it confer and function as though growth were an end in itself. Now, that is perhaps if you don't expand and grow, you don't have a stake and a say. So, it in a way push them aside to perish or die. It is also crucially important in social ecology to recognize that industrial growth does not result from a change in a cultural outlook alone, and least of all from the impact of scientific rationality on society. Rather, apart from this, the cultural outlook and the scientific rationality, it stems from the harshly objective factors which are churned up by the expansion of the market itself, factors that are strongly impervious to moral considerations and efforts at ethical persuasions. Now, therefore, the key to this law of life, that is to survival, life to survival, is expansion and greater profit to be invested in still further expansion. There, indeed, the notion of this progress, once identified by our ancestor as faith in the evolution of greater human cooperation and care, is now identified with economic growth. So, those idea of egalitarian communitarian feelings are being brushed aside and replaces by the individual interest, and which is guided again by the economic orientations and profit. Now, the point social ecology, which is strongly advocated by Murray Bookchin, emphasizes is that moral and spiritual change is meaningless or unnecessary, but that modern capitalism is structurally immoral and hence impervious to any moral appeals. Now, which in a way is a bit fitting reply to the deep ecology. What Bookchin talks about is not simply spiritual change is inadequate. The maxims like, for instance, business is business explicitly tends to portray that ethical, religious, psychological and emotional factors have absolutely no place in this impersonal world of production, profit and growth, that is the so-called materialistic world. It is grossly therefore misleading to think that we can divest this brutally materialistic and indeed mechanistic world of its objective character, that we can vaporize its hard facts rather than transforming it. Now, Bookchin claims that industrial growth is not the result of a change in a cultural outlook alone, nor is it due to the impact of scientific rationality. Rather, it stems from the principle of the market itself, that is the demand to grow or die, or survival of the fittest in the simplest term. A society based on grow or die as its all-pervasive imperative must necessarily have a devastating ecological impact, given the present context that is generated by this market competition. It would mean little or nothing if the present day population were reduced to a fraction of what it is today. Now, the ever expanding of market system, as we talk about the market expansion, that has its roots in the one of history's most fundamental social transformation, that is the elaboration of hierarchy and class into a system of distribution based on exchange rather than complementarity and mutual aid. Now, therefore, this idea of cooperation and communitarian feelings are being replaced by this individualistic and materialistic notion of ideology. Now, therefore, it is important to have an ecological society which is perhaps not based on, but also which has an appeal not only for moral regeneration, but also and above all for social reconstruction along ecological line, because social ecology believes that the human and the biotic, non-human, in a way share the evolutionary flows. Therefore, the social reconstruction has to be practices or inculcated along the ecological lines. Although always mindful of the need for a spiritual change, social ecology in a way seeks to redress the ecological abuses or impacts or consequences it has sort of cater the past few centuries that society has inflicted on the natural or the natural world by going to the structural as well as the subjective sources of notions like the domination of nature. Therefore, it is important to not just talk about the symptoms of the problems, but it is equally important to unearth or find out the causes of those problems. And perhaps one of the most important causes of the problem is how this idea of domination of nature emerges. So, one has to begin with in the starting point, and then sort of a social reconstruction is needed. Therefore, social ecology challenges the entire system of this domination itself and attempts to seek by eliminating this hierarchical and class edifice that has sort of imposed itself on humanity and defined the relationship between non-human and human nature. So, this redefinition or re-examination of the human and non-human nature is important, and one has to situate and relocate the human positions in relationship to the non-human, that is the biotic. Now, social ecology therefore advances an ethics of complementarity in which humans should play a supportive role in perpetuating the integrity of the biosphere as potentially at least sort of the most conscious products of natural evolution. And indeed, humans are seen to have a moral responsibility to function creatively in the unfolding of that evolution. And social ecology therefore stresses the need for embodying its ethics of complementarity in a palpable social institution that would perhaps give an active meaning to its goal of wholeness, that is the holistic unity of all the organs and the biotic system, and of human involvement as conscious and natural agents in the interplay of species. So, therefore, social ecology strongly talks about the moral responsibility of maintaining sort of or playing the role of a complementarity. Now, in conclusion, we can sort of sum up our discussion by saying that in place of the existing hierarchical and class system, social ecology in a way proposes an egalitarian society which are based on mutual aid, caring and communitarian values. People in this new society would in a way be appreciative that the interests of the collective are inseparable from those of each individual. Therefore, first and foremost, the hierarchy or this class stratification or differentiation which is pretty much inherent in human society has to be sort of socially reconstructed, and each and every individual should be given an important place, and so is our relations with the non-human world. And property in a way would be shared and ideally belong to the community as a whole, which should not be confined and controlled by only a handful of people. In this commune of communes, that is, property would not belong to private producers or to a nation state. Now, this transformation in a way is to be achieved through radical collective action, not by just one single individual, but a collective action and cooperative and social movement. The process of eliminating old domination must begin not only in the factory but also in the family, not only in the economy but also in the psyche, and not only in the material conditions of life but also in the spiritual ones. This is something Bookchin has talked about, which is an excerpt from the open letter to the ecology movement. Now, therefore, in a way, it tends to espouse a social revolution, and Bookchin in a way is trying to espouse a socialist ideology, and wherein every human or individual share or have a stake or a say in every minute details when it comes to sharing the relationship or in a way investing on natural resource. It should not be something which is dictated and guided by the elitist control, but rather the property, the natural resources, is not to be seen as something which is from the interest of those elite as the idea of domination and accumulation of the material wealth, but as a property which is jointly or owned by the community. So, therefore, which I perhaps feel that this could be one way of not just caring and nurturing, but which also equally supplement and fulfill the needs of the humans. At the same time, in return, the humans would be equally caring the non-human world, because their society is being conditioned, or that indispensability would be filled. Bookchin therefore believes that these oppressive, hierarchical and inequality are at the root of the problems which we are encountering, and that only a true community can sort of solve the environmental crisis. So, I am sure you have some bit of an idea of what social ecology talks about and the kind of challenges it raises, and what perhaps could be the way out in solving the environmental problems which we are facing. And it strongly talks about the social reconstructions of trying to imbibe those feelings of communitarian and egalitarian ideas which perhaps have guided many of the simple and primitive societies. Now, for further understanding on the social ecology, you can refer some of the readings, and which of course will be uploaded in the site. Thank you.